Hello televiewers, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We are sorry for the late start. Today we are going to be looking at how higher professional institutions, universities, are coping with the shutdown as decreed and ordered by the head of state, President Paul Biya, as Cameroon is sailing through difficult times with the context of COVID-19. Many universities are ongoing with their students learning from home and lecturers actually delivering lectures from their campuses. One of such universities is the Himat University with headquarters in Boya. To know that Himat operates a campus in Boya and in Douala. The students are not actually attending studies on campus as prescribed by the government of Cameroon. But the school administration thinks that and believes very strongly that students are supposed to be studying online using common or what is called information communication technology. We are going to be exploring how the Himat University is undertaking studies with the rector of that university, who is present with us in here in our studios in Douala. Professor Tala Kashim Ibrahim is the rector of the Himat University, who has come to tell us what the university is doing with respect to e-learning. Professor Tala Kashim Ibrahim, we are glad to have you in our studios out here for the very first time.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to be here too.
All the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. How is Himat doing today?
Well, I would say Himat is doing relatively well. Yes. You know that all higher educational institutions, both state and private, are passing through difficult times. But I'm happy to say that in spite of that, Himat has been able to keep its head above the waters.
Okay, Himat has been able to keep its head above the waters to know that students are currently studying. But generally speaking, how is Boya doing today too?
Well, Boya is quiet. Ironically, I think that except for the usual Mondays, life is virtually normal in Boya.
Okay, businesses are ongoing and
yes,
other activities
are going on, yes.
Okay.
And of course, we are doing everything to observe the rules and regulations that have been given to us by the state concerning how to prevent the COVID-19.
Okay, I'll start by asking you, how has the university been faring since the advent of COVID-19? We must note that before the government took this decision for classes to be ended, COVID already was existing in Cameroon. What at the level of Himat did the administration do to ensure that students and the lecturers are safe?
Well, you know, Himat is not a new institution. Himat is a very well-established institution with more than 10 years of operation. So we have taken all the normal contingency plans and arrangements, and we have all the precautionary measures which we have taken, like the fact that our students, first and foremost, we needed and we have had a borehole because water is the key. Now, you know, apart before even the advent of Corona, yes, we had the usual socio-political crisis. So we have taken the precaution of having our campus well fenced. And so we do not have visitors who are not unwelcome visitors. Then secondly, we have a borehole. So we have water, because the key to all of this is water. If you have a university or any educational institution without water, you know that you are in trouble. But we have very good water on campus, so students could wash their hands. The toilets are all clean. And of course, we have the usual hand sanitizers in front of every classroom. So I think that is when the coronavirus just started. That's before school stopped.
Yeah.
But immediately school ended, we still have those things in place for the few workers who are on campus.
Yeah, but before now, the school also has seen through very difficult times with the Anglophone crisis.
Yes. As I say, we are a very well established school, and that is what has helped us, our reputation. Because most of our colleagues, that's other private institutions, have faced some difficulties. But since we had a robust student population, there's no doubt that we also have witnessed a drop in our enrollment, but it has not been as bad.
It has not been as bad. The borehole is to ensure that students, despite the difficult times, whenever they are on campus, they can have the water required to wash their hands, and then the fence is also there to guarantee the security of these students. What has been the place of technology? Because we are talking e-learning, and the whole world is talking about technology. What has been the place of technology as far as Himmat University is concerned?
Well, as our name implies, Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology.
Okay.
We are a professional school of technology. So all our students are geared towards business and technology. I know the two are linked. And Himmat has done everything to ensure that our students who are in business are not totally disengaged from the technological component of the school. As you can guess, virtually even before the largesse of the head of state, virtually all our teachers and students owned personal computers. They are all computer literate. And so the issue of e-learning is not coming for the first time. We are not hearing about e-learning for the first time at Himmat.
Okay, you are not learning e-learning for the first time, but certainly there is a department that handles issues of technology and that engages in training students in your institution that also assist other faculties.
Yes, yes. You see, when we started thinking about introducing the MBA program, that was in 2016, 2017. The president of Himmat immediately entered into contract with a company to build up a Himmat e-learning platform. At that time, we had our MBA students in mind because, you know, most of them are workers. Most of them cannot be on campus at any time. So we had them first in mind. But as the platform was being developed, ideas also were developing. And the president thought that we should develop it for the entire school. So the platform is for both the students who are doing the HND, those who are doing the one-year top-up BTech, and for the MBA students. And I am very happy to tell you that that program is virtually complete.
Okay, the program is virtually complete. Apart from that program, there is a school that in the university that handles issues of technology. What is the place of technology in, say, in the departments or programs like management, insurance, and a host of others?
Yes. You see, you've asked a very interesting question. In Cameroon, or rather, first let me begin with higher education in general. In higher education, the general tendency in the developed world is for a very close collaboration between the university and industry. Because finally, the industry is the final consumer of our products. So, the president of Himmat had ensured that he had developed working relationships with most of the industries. Like here in Douala, you have Dangote industry, cement factory, you have the Guinness you have the Brasserie du Cameroon, you have all the local industry, the major ones, of course. Yes, we send our children to them for internship, and we are happy to say that some of them have recruited the students when they have completed their studies. So we have a very robust relationship with industry. Yes.
Yeah, but you have that. Can we also see how the students or the lecturers involved in either the technological program are assisting those of other departments in handling issues of technology, facilitating studies and work?
Yes, let me give you one very simple example. The computer.
Yeah.
You know, it is strange, but it is true in Cameroon that while most students come to the university already computer literate, some students are touching the computer keyboard for the first time in the university. So this is where that technological department comes into play. They help the students who are still, I'll call them greenhorns as far as ITs are concerned. So that is where the link comes in. But for those who are already computer literate, who are familiar with the normal softwares, there's no problem.
To say that Himad was already prepared for what Cameroon is living today? Yes,
you see, in fact, e-learning, let me say computer or electronically enabled learning is not new in higher education. In fact, I regret to say this, that Cameroon is one of the few countries in the world that is still backward in
e-learning.
Yes. The Ministry of Higher Education has been toying with this idea for the past 10 years. But you know, like in Cameroon, things take their time. So otherwise, right now, there is no concerted national framework for e-learning. There's none. So the advent of COVID-19 is actually, in that respect, a blessing. For instance, when the government closed down schools, it is for health reasons. But fortunately, what was supposed to solve a problem raised a new problem. That is, with the children now at home, how will they continue with their studies? And that is where this whole idea of e-learning has come up. Every institution now, both private and state-owned, are doing their best to produce platforms for their students. In HipMat, for instance, our engineers have toyed with the other programs and have come up with 4. The WhatsApp, the Google Classroom, the Zoom, and the Skype. And they have brought out the difficulties and challenges of using these 4 platforms. So we started at HipMat with WhatsApp because it is first user-friendly, and virtually every student can manipulate the WhatsApp. So that's where we started, by lecturers sending notes to students, and we have forums. Each department has a forum where the heads of department and the teachers and the students communicate. Then, with the advent of the
Google Classroom?
Okay. Yes, now we now start the Google Classroom. Yes.
Yeah, COVID-19?
Yes, we now went into Google Classroom. And for the past 3 weeks, we have had intensive training of our teachers. Now, you have to understand, we are dealing with human beings, not robots. And habits die hard, especially bad habits. Now, you cannot deny the fact that there are 1 or 2 lecturers who are, should I say, a bit reactionary, will not like to join the new bandwagon because they are very comfortable, they have their comfort zone of their notebooks and so on.
Yeah, in communication they call them laggards. Yeah.
Yes, but the majority, I'm happy to say, have logged in and they are performing well.
Okay. The HUMAT students are assumed, or we presume that they are well wherever they are today. Can you paint a glaring picture, an apt picture of how studies go on in Hima today.
Yes.
Say in the morning, students are told to get up to follow lectures. Lecturers are expected on campus.
No, you see, e-learning has its own peculiarities.
Okay.
First, the teacher can be wherever. The student can also be place does not matter. So the teachers, if they choose to work by sending material to the students can download the material and work on it at their own pace. Because that is one of the advantages of e-learning. The student can work at his own pace. Now, there's also the other angle of it, that is where it is instructor oriented. In that case, they have periods where they can interact. So we have these two possibilities, and the students can use any of the two. You see, the advantage, another advantage of e-learning is that in the normal classroom situation, some students are afraid to ask questions. Some students are slow to pick up. So after the class, they cannot go back to the teacher to ask him to repeat. But if they have the material already with them, they can replay the material, and they will, at their own pace, and they will pick up where they have lost.
They'll pick up where they are lost. But now, you say the advantage is that students can learn at their pace.
Yes.
But they also need to be regulated, to be called to order to meet deadlines.
Yeah, that's why I said there are two facets of the approach.
Yes.
Yes. There is the teacher-oriented, where they are followed up. And we have a whole team made up of the Dean of Studies, the registrar, and all the heads of department who are all logged into these programs. And these are the people who check the students. You see, computer learning is very interesting. It has several advantages, but it also has several disadvantages. Yes, you see, like for instance, if you give homework and you are using the facet where you send the material to the student and the student works on it, you cannot check plagiarism. You cannot check cheating, examination malpractices, because the student can work and cut material from anywhere and paste and pass it to you, and he will pass. That is one of the disadvantages. But the Google Classroom we are using has a component that allows checking.
Okay. So if I get you very well, you are telling us that as we speak, lectures, studies are ongoing at Himat University unperturbed.
Yes, I will not say unperturbed, because we don't. Himat does not live in an island. We live in Cameroon, and from March to at least this last Sunday, we have had numerous power outages.
Okay.
So without the electricity, computer cannot work, e-learning cannot work. So some of these problems are not caused by us. It is caused by exigencies like power outages. And you know, we have one or two students who are in areas where you cannot even receive radio or television signals. Now, you see, it's difficult to follow up students in that zone. But the luck that we have is that this coronavirus came when the academic year was in full session. So most of our students are still in and around Buea and Douala. So they do not face much of this problem, especially that of the absence of radio and television signals. The only problem they can face, especially in Buea, is the problem of power outages.
Now, let's talk about the effectiveness of this e-learning as practiced in the Himat University out there in Buea. Many people are still to come to terms to really grasp how this operates. I want us to talk about the efficiency of this.
Yes. You see, if you start with the concept of e-learning in itself, as I said, it has several advantages. In fact, it puts more than sufficient material at the disposal of the student.
Yeah.
And it gives possibilities for students to cross-check one material with the other. Yes. But you can lead a horse to the stream. You cannot force that horse to drink water.
Yeah.
So the material is sent to the student. The student too has to develop a particular sense of responsibility and self-discipline to know that at this time you have to follow your lectures. You see, when students leave their homes and come to the university for the first time, some of them are enjoying freedom for the first time in their lives. So they go astray. Even when the university was functioning normally, we have students whose parents pay fees and they don't come to school. So we insist that parents and guardians must also take their responsibilities. The students themselves must show a sense of discipline. These two will complement what we as an institution are doing. As I say, we have several forums for departments in which heads of department, teachers and students are all linked. So they interact. And it is through this interaction that we follow up.
Yeah, that it is through interactions that you follow up, but the teachers who are expected to deliver the lectures via the respective social media handles that you just enumerated that are being used at the level of your university, are they themselves up to standards? Have you trained them to understand how these things function and how to readily and easily relate with the students?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. First and foremost, most of our lecturers are young and therefore are computer literate. Most of them are enrolled on the PhD programs in various universities. So they are versed with all these issues of technology. So, but for the programs or for the platforms that we are using, as I said, they have had 3 weeks of intensive training. I know 3 weeks is not long, but 3 weeks is enough to put them on the job. So now they will be learning as they are going. Because as far as HIPMAT is concerned, e-learning has come to stay. It's not going to go away. So we will with time continue to formalize and to integrate e-learning into our normal educational delivery system.
Now, is this e-learning that is going to be integrated in the entire overall functioning or system of HIMAT? Is it going to apply for people who live out of Cameroon? That is, people can readily study in your university from out of Cameroon? Are you looking towards that direction?
Yes, actually, at a certain moment, HIPMAT was doing e-learning with an Indian university.
Okay.
Yes, so students were living in Buea,
in Cameroon,
in Cameroon, and were studying from India, and they had their MBA, fully accredited. So it is, as I say, it is not a new concept with us. And as I has also said, our president had already virtually completed the platform, which is now for HIPMAT. My only regret is that there is not yet a national platform. Because you see, we are being mentored by the University of Bamenda. Our platform is not the same as the platform that the University of Bamenda is using. So you see there's a misnomer there.
It's not also very similar to, maybe not similar, it may be similar but not the same, like what obtains in other higher professional institutions.
Yes. So we expect a kind of a ministerial platform from which we can now draw inspiration. Because, for instance, a student being mentored, let's say, by HIPMAT, and let me take any other university, by one mentor university. The student from HIPMAT should be able to continue his or her education in the other university if we are using similar or same platforms. But you see now, each university has its own platform. So this for me is a short-term measure. I look forward to when the government will now take over. Our educational policy makers should now decide on a national platform which will now inspire the other platforms.
Other institutions.
Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, but how comfortable are the students of HIMAT with this new disposition? Because generally they were used to coming to lectures and then discussing with their lecturers. Did you take time to explain to them why it was necessary to engage in this e-learning process?
Well, I think virtually all the educational institutions have done that. So it's not only HIPMAT.
It's not unique to...
It's not unique to HIPMAT. And, well, you know, when you introduce a new concept, there are some people who embrace it immediately. There are others who take time. So, but as I said earlier on, the majority of HIPMAT students are logging in to our program. So we are happy with that. The few who are still dragging their feet, with time will join us.
With time, they are going to join us at the regular sessions that you hold with the lecturers who are involved in this process to see where they find gaps, where they face challenges, so that together they can brainstorm, especially with those who are handling the technicians to fix.
Yes, there is, and that will continue for the next year. Because you see, it's a new concept, and for every as with the years or the time goes by, we have challenges. So they are there. Our IT engineers we have 3 on the spot every day, so that if any lecturer faces any challenge, he or she is very free to get in touch, and we all have the same forum. We have all exchanged our numbers, so there's no difficulty with that.
Okay, there's no difficulty with that. How is the assessment of what is going on? How is it done? Students are at home now studying via e-learning from your university, and they need to be assessed. How do you achieve this?
Yes, the assessment, as I said earlier on, is one of the challenges of e-learning.
Okay.
Because if you use the platform where you only send the material to the student, in that case you cannot check examination malpractices. But the Google School Classroom that we are using has an inbuilt checking system which enables the teachers to follow up. Yes. You see, I am not in a position to go into the technicalities of it, but I can tell you that we chose that particular platform because it has that inbuilt checking system, and it is being used. You see, if we don't follow up that way, you see, our students, for those who are doing HND, they are going to write a national exam. For those who are doing BTech, they are going to do an exam that will be
done by your mentor university.
So you see, if we don't follow our own checking system well, then you see we'll be exposing ourselves and our students to ridicule.
Yeah, to ridicule. But how do you also monitor the effectiveness of what the lecturers are doing? Because you are the rector of the university. I'm sure there is a director of academic affairs. Now, is there a system that has also been put in place to ensure that wherever the lecturers are, they are also monitored to
yes, as I had said, that we have a network made up of the Dean of Studies, the Registrar, all the heads of department, and our IT engineers. That is the team that is in place. You know, an advantage of e-learning is that it reduces the number of teachers too.
Okay.
Yeah, so the teachers that are working now and who are on the forum are well followed up. And you should know that in the private, not only in private and the state-owned universities, part-time teachers are paid by the hour. So if we cannot check them, how can we pay them? So you see, that checking system is there, it's inbuilt, and it is from there that we can pay them and they will not complain because they themselves are following up. In the past, they taught for 2 hours, they come and fill the logbook and say we have taught for 2 hours and they sign. Now, it is through that system. You see, we have what is called professional secrets. If we expose that system now, you know, others will, yeah. So, but we have a system that is working and working very well to the satisfaction of the administration of HIPMAT and the teachers of HIPMAT.
Have you taken the pains to assess how students are, how comfortable students are with the process? Do they really enjoy what they are doing? Are they up to date, or they are struggling to catch up with what has been imposed on them?
Yes. As I said again, we reach out to the students through their phones, through the forum. If any student has any challenge, he or she goes on the forum and tells us. But you see, we must understand that this is an innovation, and it needs time for people to digest. So we find ourselves in a situation where staff and students are both learners
of a process.
Of a process, yes. It is true that the staff are better trained and better equipped than the students, but they are also learning. So we need some time. It is this end of year examination that will tell us how effective, not only for HIPMAT, but for the entire country, how effective e-learning has been. And that's where we will learn where the rain began to beat us so that we can know where to dry ourselves.
Okay. Are there plans for this process to become something natural, permanent in your university?
Yes. E-learning has come to stay in HIPMAT. By, I should say, next month, the HIPMAT platform will go operational. And once it goes operational, it's for the whole school. You see, it is in our interest for that to go. Because, as I said, some of our MBA students, even BTech students, even the HND students, they are workers. They cannot be coming every day. They will pay the fees quite all right, but you know, sometimes you see a student is absent for 2 weeks in a semester. You ask the student, what is happening? Please, sir, I have to earn the money to come and pay my fees. So this e-learning is going to solve that problem. So we are happy that it has come. And I think that
it has forced the hand of the government also.
Yes, I want to thank coronavirus in spite of the devastating effects on human life. But it has now forced us to join the world bandwagon on e-learning. Because if coronavirus had not come, we will still be dragging our feet. But now there is no institution, either state or private, that is sitting idle. Every institution is finding a way to reach out to the students. And you should understand that we are looking forward to admitting new students soon. So if the students don't see what we are doing, they cannot come to us. So it is in our interest to ensure that this e-learning works so that students, our own students, can sell the idea to those, the junior ones who are coming in, because that is our own major avenue of getting in new students. Yes.
Now, this new disposition, or yes, dispensation, if I may say so, has it changed in any way the spirit in teachers who are supposedly teaching this the students? Has anything changed?
Well, it is still too early to say.
To assess.
To assess. But already the teachers are beginning to notice that there will soon be a curtailment of manpower. So that will affect. You see, of recent, we had several teachers who, candidates, holders of PhD, who were not lucky to be recruited into the state universities. They were protesting and so on. Now, if you are not competent in e-learning, you can forget it. And you know, with e-learning, the number of students does not matter. There's no need for a large classroom. In fact, there's no need for classroom whatsoever. So we can recruit 1,000 students.
Who would necessarily not come and sit?
Yes, because our regret is that, you know, in Hipma we have campus A, we have campus B, we have bought land for campus C. If we had known about this, I think that land for campus C will not have bought it. They will have used the money for something else. But we now have prospect for 3 campuses. And with the advent of e-learning, campus C, we may develop it for another program. Yes, because e-learning will help to solve
you also using to get the students or not? They are all at home. Others may be engaged in businesses and other activities. Are there some extra things that your university is doing to get the students understand that irrespective of the fact that they are not on campus, they are still schooling?
Yes, you know, that is a very tricky situation, in the sense that the social media has already corrupted the minds of most of the students. And you see a student, even in the normal classroom, browsing while lectures are going on. So here again, what we are doing is through messages in our forums to encourage the students to be proactive, to follow the programs. We can only do that. We cannot follow them to their houses. That is one of the disadvantages of e-learning. Because the student is free, he can do what he likes. But as I say, we count on the sense of responsibility of the students, of the parents and guardians, and we will now do our part.
You will do your part. Hello, good evening to you in the studio and to all watching My Media Prime TV. Just want to thank My Media Prime for the good work they are doing. Humphrey, we are also very grateful that you watch us every day, all the way from Canada. Good evening to you too. Now, how is the online program operating? Program schedules, are they operating like a normal class where from morning there is this class, this time there is this class, or it operates differently?
No, it operates differently in the sense that the lecturer gets in touch through the usual
social media,
with the students, and they agree. That is for the version where the instructor interacts with the students. But for the one where material is sent to the student, the student can download at any time and work at his or her own pace. But what we are encouraging is the version where there is an interaction between the lecturer and the students, and that they usually agree on time. You see, when we are going to go national, the national radio, like what the BBC did for the Open University in London, will have to create a special channel for e-learning, which will not disturb the normal TV programs or radio programs. So those who will channel, if we, for instance, will say, you have my Media Prime Channel 2.
Yeah,
that is, school. Yes, that
we are working on that also.
Good. So that one will go on. But now, you see, whatever we are doing, if we use like there are some schools that use the high TV, for instance, in Buea. Those ones, their program must now meet up with the program of the television station. Yes, and that is a constraint. Okay,
that's a constraint. Now, good evening, Leonard. This is Atu Njume from Buea. I'm so elated and inspired watching Professor Emeritus Tala Kashim. They should keep up with the great work at HIMAT, while we hope that other universities emulate this urgent need for technological innovation. I also wish to encourage students to adapt with the changing times. Kudos, Prof. Atu Njume. Good evening to you. Okay, the president is watching and contributing to what is happening. The president says the students follow the normal timetable followed strictly by students and lecturers. Okay, so there is a timetable that has to be followed. This one, Stephen Andode, who is a lecturer at the University of Buea. I'm sure he should be your student also.
Yes.
He's watching. He says that wonderful and timely program. Great analysis by Emeritus Professor Tala Kashim Ibrahim. Stephen, watching from Buea. Stephen, we are glad to know that you are watching from Buea. This one says, how do you study engineering online? Feeding and before is watching from Douala, is writing from Douala. Greetings to the Pioneer PhD University of Yaoundé, Tala Kashim. It may be difficult here with studying engineering. It means that they get the lectures, and then when time is going to permit, they go practical?
Yes, there are. You see, the e-learning is not open to all disciplines.
Okay.
All pure scientific, pure science, and the medical science, for instance, where they need practicals in labs, it will be difficult. The students must go to the lab. Yes, so their e-learning has its own limitations.
Which means that, but these students, you've assured them that as soon as possible, things are going to be taken care of by the administration.
Yes, you see, like for instance, we now have a presidential law which forbids students from coming to assembling on campus. Once that law is relaxed, yes, they will come, they can come to the labs. A program will be drawn for them to be coming to the labs. Because, you know, even when schools will be allowed to open, things will not just open automatically. It has to be gradual. And it is during this period that we will also be doing our best to catch up.
Okay. Let me take this. Says, hello, good evening. This one I'm hearing about online learning. Does it mean schools won't resume on the 1st of June? Martha is watching from Kumba.
That's a very interesting question.
Yes.
Schools will reopen if COVID-19 permits. Yes, because the governmental announcement is that schools will open provided the situation ameliorates. Yes, so we believe that schools will open, but as I said, even when schools will open, e-learning will remain.
E-learning will continue. When you look at the situation of Cameroon and Africa as a whole, with respects to e-learning. Would you see COVID-19 as an opportunity that time for stakeholders like yourself to go back to the drawing board and rethink this whole learning process in Cameroon?
Yes, you know, I have always been a very strong critic of the Cameroon educational curricula because it is not suited to the realities of this country. And why I am happy with professional schools like HIPMAT is that they have this insight or foresight to adopt e-learning and also to forge a link with industry. Because you see, it is industry that recruits our graduates. I give you a simple example.
Okay.
The University of Ngaoundéré produces beer.
Okay.
Very good beer. I have drank it. It's very fantastic. But the machines making those beers, the brewery machine, are more than 30 years old. So if any of those students come to Brasserie du Cameroon today, where production has become digital, they cannot function. So it is necessary for Ngaoundéré to send their students on internship to brasseries.
Yeah, but why not upgrade?
Yeah, but you upgrade when you see the points of upgrading. When the students come here, they don't come alone. They are accompanied. It is the lecturer who will accompany them, who will now see the areas for upgrading. Yes, but it is very necessary because what we are producing, to tell you the truth, you hear in Douala here, I'm surprised, I sit down in my house and then your television station shows a 3-story building collapsing and people dying. There are engineers and architects who worked on that building. If those had had industrial training, that accident may have been averted. That is my plan. Now, that's what I say. So, we insist very much on industrial relationship.
Yeah, we are talking how your university is surviving these times. You are talking about internship. What is happening? Are you already engaging industries to make sure that once things come back to normalcy, the students can readily get their placements in the respective industries in the nation?
We had already sent out, because HIPMAT is one of the very few, if not the only, I don't want to say the only, but it's one of the very few institutions that places all its students on internship. I have questioned the president on that. I said, even state universities don't do that. He said, Mr. Rector, this is our tradition. And I think it is a very good tradition. We had already arranged, even before the advent of COVID-19, we were finished with internship. All our students have been placed.
Okay, all your students have been placed. Lots of questions also coming to me today when I announced that this was going to be our discussion for tonight. Some people were also worried about professional education in Cameroon and actually getting the students, the products from these schools come out as professionals. What is that emphasis that your university is putting to ensure that it reflects that name, that it's a school for professionals?
Thank you very much. You see, I don't want to say that I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I want to assure you that the president of HIPMAT has made it mandatory. He brings in professionals from the business world, from the world, from industry, to come and talk to our students. In fact, it is from them that the students, that dialogue exchange, that the students know where, because the student is given the choice of where he or she wants to do the internship. Now, you see, when a student may think that, oh, I want to go to Dangote, perhaps because of the name. Then the manager of EcoBanks comes in and gives a lecture, and the student is so enthralled by that lecture. What happens? The student switches to EcoBank. And this is what we do. And that has been helping us a lot. Because you see, if we allow the students themselves to choose their placements for internship, they will make several mistakes. And you will agree with me that to bring in professionals, you know them. If you bring in a senior executive for 3 hours talk, you know how much you will pay him. But the president of HIPMAT does not care about the expenses.
Okay. Hi, Prof. Emeritus, for the brilliant presentation on behalf of HIPMAT. I always love his methods of teaching since 1992. Congrats, Prof. Proud of you always. You are students at Dr. Mekunda, University of Boya. Okay. This one says, good evening to the studio. The program is interesting and timely, but my worry is e-learning really possible in Cameroon with the poor internet connection. Barrister Dobgima asking, that is a challenge.
Yeah, that is a challenge. And as I say, whereas we are doing everything to promote e-learning, we cannot close our eyes to the challenges. There's e-learning $30 million to
download,
because we have a minimum. So they too have to wake up and ameliorate our internet network. And you has to wake up to stop these numerous power outages. The government itself has to wake up to help us, especially the Ministry of Higher Education, because to the best of my knowledge, for the past 10 years, plans have been made to put e-learning on board in Cameroon. But for one reason or the other, that plan is still in gestation.
Yeah, it's still being delayed. What is the place of research in all of this that has been engaged by your university?
Yes, you see, we are not a research-oriented university. We are a business.
Yeah, but students are asked to research on some of the concepts or topics that are treated. I'm not talking of the big research per se.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, because I am addressing the big research per se. We are not research oriented. But all our students who go out on internship must write and defend their research projects. That is mandatory. In fact, without doing that, you cannot obtain your degree or diploma.
Yep. But in this process of e-learning, how do you ask students to do research and assignments? And then how do you monitor them also?
No, for classroom research and assignments, I say they are embedded in the platform.
Okay.
Yes, but for internship projects, no, they have to go and do the internship and then come and write their projects. Guided, of course, they don't write, they are guided by a lecturer and they defend it. Because you see, you don't go into an industry or into a bank just to go and waste 1 month. No, you go there to follow up what is going on. And there I want to be grateful, to express my thankfulness to all our partners. They have been very open to our students. You know, business is business. There are certain business secrets that nobody would want an outsider to see. But what is seeable, they have allowed our students to see. So we are grateful for that.
Okay, they've allowed your students to see. This one says, hello to all watching Prime TV and those following up this ongoing program. this ongoing program. I just wish to thank you for your efforts to reinforce the educational sector in Cameroon and other measures put in place to educate the population. It is Farida. Farida is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Farida, for greeting and always following up. Professor, now we are talking COVID-19. The students are at home. The lecturers are also, some come to campus, others are
working from their homes.
Are you also, by this, telling Cameroonians to start seeing the possibility of them studying using online? Because people may think that to engage in online education, it is only possible for those who are out of the country to want to study in an institution like this, but that this is also an eye-opener for them to understand that you could be in Gaoundéré, in Bomenda, and in Kumba, because many people are watching from Kumba, and study in from Boya.
Yeah, you see, any method of teaching, be it e-learning, demands a huge financial investment. And here I want to thank the president of HIPMAT for having undertaken that huge investment, because to build a platform is not a matter of 50 or 100,000. It involves a heavy investment. He has done that investment so that he can attract students, as you have said, from all over the country. You can be anywhere. What we are asking now is, because in the present decree on education, there are clauses that demand that a student must be in class for so many days in the year to qualify for his diploma or degree. Now, we want the ministry to accredit higher e-learning so that degrees given by e-learning can be recognized by the Cameroon government. Because I want to assure you that I know of students who have brought in degrees obtained through e-learning from European and other countries, and the Ministry of Higher Education has not acknowledged that degree. Yes, so the government need to make a statement on that. Okay,
let us come back to the motivation for your university to even want to engage in e-learning. What is it that motivated the administration of HIMAT to engage in this? Is it COVID-19, or you saw beyond Cameroon and the current situation?
No, the point I made is that the president of HIPMAT had the insight and the foresight since 2016 to engage in the project of building a platform for HIPMAT. He is foreseeing, because you see,
that's the future.
The future, because to tell you the truth, in 2016, before this crisis, we were having problems with numbers. Well, the numbers were getting...
Because of the ongoing Anglophone crisis.
Yes. Yeah. That's what has reduced the number. Otherwise, the student population in HIPMAT was growing by leaps and bounds. So the president had to think fast and to say, okay, if it's like this, and I'm going to start with postgraduate
e-learning.
Yes. So I need to introduce e-learning so that those students who will need to work, because professional education is not cheap. I won't tell you lies. So not every parent can pay, or every student easily. It's not the 50,000 that you pay in state universities. So the president had to think about those students who have to work before they come and pay their fees. That's why he thought of e-learning. At that time, if you ask the president, did you ever think of COVID-19? He will tell you, my dear brother, no. He didn't. Nobody thought about it. Yes, that's why even Donald Trump was caught unawares.
Okay, you are mentored by who should be aware of the going at the Himad University, and how involved are they with what is going on in Buea?
Thank you very much. First, I want to assure you that we have an excellent working relationship with our mentor universities. According to the MOU we signed with them, there are at intervals, they come to inspect what we are doing, and they have always written very glowing reports. So, this idea of e-learning, they also know about it. But since it is a state university, they have to wait for instructions. We are a private university. That's why our president can stand up and do whatever he likes. It's a private university. He has the money. He invests the money.
Yeah, but at least he notifies the mentor university.
Of course, they are happy. They themselves now are in the process of trying to look for a suitable platform. As I say, when we work for about a year, then we will compare notes and we'll see which one will be better. But they are happy, and when the next inspection team will come, definitely they will come to see what we are doing. And I want to assure them, even before they come, that they will be satisfied with what they will see.
But also, was this move not motivated by the fact that you did not want to waste this school year? Because if not of e-learning, what would the students be doing now?
Yes, as I said, when the government closed schools, it was for health reasons. But it raised another problem, which is what will the students be doing? So you are right that this e-learning has come to the forefront today. It was occupying the back seat. It is now on the front seat because of the coronavirus. And you cannot deny that fact. But what we are saying is that even after coronavirus is gone, as far as SIPMAT is concerned, e-learning has come to stay.
Okay, this one from Tabot Machiavelli, who is writing from Yaoundé. He says that, good evening, Mr. Rector. He is a professor. How efficient is the e-learning stuff? I would want, for example, I am in Yaoundé and I want to school at Himat, and I wouldn't want to come to Buea for school issue. Can Himat function correctly with e-learning in next academic year?
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Tabot, for choosing Himat. We are, as I said, we already have a platform which will be functional in the next academic year. It will be in our flyers and all our adverts. You can come to the University of to HIPMAT next academic year and study through e-learning without a problem.
From Yaoundé?
From Yaoundé. The taste of the pudding is in the eating. Come and see what is going on, and I want to assure you, not only will you be satisfied, you will try to call others to also join you.
Okay. Good evening to the studio. It's Miss Ngale Patience, writing from Limbe. I am happy to see my former lecturer, Prof. Tala Kashim. He taught me in UB in the mid-90s. I'm really impressed to see how far he has gone. I pray God keeps longer to continue molding young Cameroonians. Thank you, Prof. I still think of those days in UB where you handled us like your own children. Himat is said to be, you describe yourself as a family. The family is divided now. Everybody is gone his way because of COVID-19. Is there still that bond of a family setting in Himat?
You know, place, or what we call home, is in the mind.
Okay.
HIPMAT started at a family. HIPMAT remains a family. We still have our contacts. Thank God this COVID-19 came in the period of the Android generation.
Yeah.
So we do maintain our contact. We have our forum. We're in constant touch with each other. Because you see, it is only the human touch, because we have to keep social distance.
Yeah.
That is what has kept us apart. Apart from that, HIPMAT is a very close-knit family. We hold under normal circumstances, we hold our monthly mass, which helps us to remember God, our Maker, and we have classes where we teach our students civics, not the kind of civics that you just go and write on the blackboard. We talk with them. We bring motivational speakers to address them, to motivate them, to let them know why they are leaving. Because most students are in the university without knowing why they are in the university. Some come there because they have nowhere else to go. So we at HIPMAT make sure we want you to understand that there is a purpose in life.
Okay, there is a purpose in life. I've seen some of the speakers come to talk to the students out there in the campus of Buea and Douala to inspire the students, but the students can no longer come together. Do you have some of the recordings, video recordings of some of these professionals in soft copy that you send to the students to follow, even from home?
Now, you see, that is the advantage of being a business school. There's no speaker who comes there and his speech is not recorded. So we have those recordings, and the students do have them. Yes. As I say, there are so many things that we have done, and there are several other things that we are yet to do, because it's as we go, we learn in the process. We are now being forced to put the cart before the horse. Normally, we were going to introduce e-learning formally, but now we have just been pushed into it, so we have to take a shortcut. Yes, I know shortcuts can lead you into trouble. So
you'll be perfecting the process.
We'll be, as we are going along.
As you go along.
Yes, we are not saying that there are no challenges. There are challenges. I want my listeners to understand that there are challenges, but we are open to learning, and anybody who can correct us, we receive corrections if they are objective. Well, we don't welcome subjective corrections.
Okay. Now, the school, the university has been one of the biggest schools, higher professional institutions, universities across the Mungo, with flying colors at the national examinations for years now. And there has been the Anglophone crisis. Today we are talking about COVID, the standards. How do you ensure that even from home, the standards are maintained?
Well, first and foremost, standards are the greatest priority of the president of HIPMAT. And he expresses that in his choice during recruitment of lecturers.
Okay.
All our lecturers, I'm happy to say, are well qualified, well experienced, and seasoned in teaching. So that is the secret behind the success of HIPMAT. You know, as I said, you can lead a horse to the stream and you cannot force the, yes. So no matter how good the lecturer is, if he cannot interact positively with the students, he will not deliver. We are lucky that virtually all our lecturers interact very well with the students. So there is a harmony between teacher-student and teacher-student relationship. That is our secret.
But are you while the students are learning from home, are you also reminding them every day that they should stay safe, respecting the prescriptions of the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health in Cameroon, amongst other guidelines given?
Yes, you know, there are several guidelines given in that respect. All we can do is just to reiterate them, because all the guidelines have been given. And I'm happy, and I want to congratulate those of you in the media for keep insisting, reiterating, repeating these guidelines. And I hope that all those who watch you or listen to you will follow. Our students know. You see, once there's a pro-African proverb that says, if you don't know your destination, any road will do. What we do at HIPMAT is to show our students their destination so that they choose the right way. So most of our students, I say most because I cannot vouch for, sorry, I cannot vouch for every student. But most of our students are convinced, they know why they are in HIPMAT. And because they know why they are in HIPMAT, they know that they have to obey, to follow rules and regulations, they have to stay safe. You know, we started this issue of safety because of the crisis. You know, our Campus B is slightly out of the... Yes. And that is the sector where those boys used to operate. But we have managed to school them in such a way that I am happy to say, from the beginning of the crisis till now, HIPMAT has been spared. Okay, HIPMAT has been spared. Good evening, Prof. You just said certificates gotten from e-learning were rejected in Cameroon. So what then will be the use of certificates obtained from your university? Bridget is writing from Yaoundé. I'm sure there are some clarifications that you need to do here, that you will study from Yaoundé, but you need to come and take exams. Yes, the exams. So you see, when you do e-learning, you are learning from Cameroon. The school is in Cameroon. It's an accredited school by the Cameroon government. So there's no problem. Where the certificates are rejected, not all e-learning certificates from outside are rejected. Let me be understood clearly. But there are some schools that the Cameroon Ministry of Higher Education does not recognize. So e-learning certificates from those schools are not recognized. But we are in Cameroon, and we are an accredited school by the Ministry of Higher Education, and we are mentored by a state university. So our certificates are automatically recognized. And we are happy to tell you again here that we have a very good working relationship with the Ministry of Higher Education. You know that the ministry follows up programs. They send inspectors to come and see what we are doing. And just like with our mentor universities, we have received very satisfactory comments. Okay. Good evening, sir. I'm Emmanuel, writing from Marwa, which I wish to know the courses offered by the HIPMAT University. Well, we offer virtually all the courses in business and management, and then we offer courses in electronics, electrical engineering, and transport and logistics. Okay. Yes. Now, so I will ask the candidate to please visit the HIPMAT website, which I will give later on, and she will get all the courses. They are all outlined, and we will soon be on the air again to advertise the reopening of the next academic year. Okay. Now, are we saying from what nature is imposing, not only on Africa, Cameroon, but on all higher professional institutions, are we saying that we are going to see in the nearest future a greater investment and interest in the development of technology? I'm talking about ICT in HIPMAT. Yes. You see, HIPMAT is a private institution. Yeah. And we have a proactive president who is willing to invest. You can see from our infrastructure, within 10 years, I think we are one of the few higher professional institutions in the country that have developed so far. So since he has invested and he's still investing, I am convinced that he will invest more in e-learning. So I want to say again, because I am always optimistic, that e-learning at HIPMAT will be a trailblazer. That will be a pace setter in this country.
Okay, it's going to be a pace setter in this country. How involved is the Ministry of Higher Education in what you are doing? I'm sure you're sending reports and that they are very, very informed of the process ongoing out there in the campus in Boya.
Yes, in fact, they are informed in what is going on in all the campuses. It's not only at HIPMAT.
Yeah.
Other campuses too are doing the same. And what I am happy to say is that all the, at least most of the private higher educational institutions have embraced this e-learning. So if we are the only ones doing it, it will not be wonderful. But because several other institutions have embraced it, we find ourselves now in a highly competitive situation. So it is our place to prove ourselves within our competitors.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Talking about this e-learning at home. What happens to those who don't have the means to go through this e-learning? This is Boris Nse Bobeton writing from Yaoundé. I'm sure those who cannot study from Yaoundé are forced to go down either to the campus in Boya and Douala for studies, physical studies.
Yes, you see, e-learning is cost effective.
Okay.
It reduces the cost of traveling. In fact, the student does not need to travel regularly to Boya. He does not need to rent a house in Boya. He can stay with his parents in Yaoundé and still follow courses. When what I understand that question to mean is that those who are in areas where
in remote areas,
yes, or even in the cities, because there are people here in Douala who don't have television sets in their homes, and there are those who don't have radio sets. So those type of children from those type of homes have some difficulties. And there are houses here in Douala where there's no electricity. So those children will have difficulties. This is where we have to salute the action of our head of state, President Paul Biya, for his largesse in giving those computers to students and teachers. So now, virtually every student possesses a computer. So that is the major, because e-learning is computer-centered. If you don't have a computer, actually you have difficulties with e-learning. But now that President Paul Biya has resolved that problem for the most part, because there are still some students who will tell you they don't have those computers. Okay,
please put on your mask, Mr. Journalist. Frankie is writing from Yaoundé. Many messages from Yaoundé. Frankie, see, I am alone with Professor Talakashim because I want to respect the social distance as prescribed in the country. Yeah. If not, normally this program would have received 4 other persons. Okay. Sir, I'm writing from Yaoundé just to find out if this university is found in Yaoundé. It's Princely writing. Princely is asking whether HIMAT is found in Yaoundé. HIMAT has 2 campuses,
the main campus is in Boya, and there's a campus in Douala. That's a very good question. In fact, when I go back, I will ask the president so that he should put his thinking cap on and start thinking of the 3rd campus in Yaoundé.
Okay. This one is asking, Bridget writing from Yaoundé says, any PhD program on environment, I don't know whether there's a PhD program on environment at HIMAT. Bridget, the rector of that university is here.
No, for the time being, no. HIPMAT is specifically a school of business and management and technology. We do not go into the normal conventional subjects.
Okay, now let's talk about national exams with there's the HPD.
Yes,
HND.
Yeah.
And are the students preparing for that already?
Yes, they have actually completed registering. They have registered for the exam. And that is why you see this e-learning becomes mandatory, because without it, how are they going to write the exam? We are doing everything to teach them through this e-learning, because you know their results will work either against us or for us. And we want the results to work for us. So we want as many of our students to pass. That's why you see the president has put emphasis on this issue. He personally supervises this. Because you see, his credibility rests on it. If his school fails, forget about the fact that I as a rector can be fired. But he, as a president, will feel the blow more. So he has the interest of the students at heart, and he also wants his school to develop. So this e-learning process is something that will make or mar not only HIPMAT, all the other schools. So it is the examination that will tell.
Now, you stressed in the beginning of our discussion that there is need for a clear national policy that would put in place an e-learning platform that cuts across the nation. Are you going to envisage engaging other higher professional institutions, universities, to get to the minister to get this done?
In fact, during the dialogue, the discussions with the trade unions before the crisis, the issue of a national educational forum was raised, and this issue of the e-learning was to be high on the agenda. As I said, if Cameroon wants to meet that magic year of 2035, we have no alternative than to invest heavily in technology. We have no alternative than reinforcing the linkages of universities with industry. These are the two priorities that if the government fails, then forget about 2035.
Okay. Good evening to the panelists. I'm Frederick, writing from Douala. I would like to know when the HND exams would be written.
Well, that will be decided by the Minister of Higher Education.
Okay. I hope you gotten the answer. Good evening, please. I wish to know some of the advantages of doing transport logistics. It's Maria, writing from Limbe.
Well, Maria, you live in Limbe. You have heard of the plans to build the Limbe deep sea port. So, transport and logistics is heavily involved in that, because there will be shipping, there will be custom agents, clearing agents. So there's a lot that you can do. In fact, if that department is not well developed, we will be surprised that we will be importing people to work in that department. So transport and logistics, if you are interested in it, enroll now.
Okay, Hilary, writing from Yaoundé, says that Mr. Liu, help me ask Prof that with the e-learning, how comfortable and successful will an electrical engineering and electronic student go through his course with all the complicated diagrams in physics? Hilary, I'm sure you joined the program late. Prof, answer that question already, yes. But Prof, you can...
Yes, as I said, those programs that require practicals, the students must have to do the practicals. An engineer who has not done practicals is not an engineer.
Okay, so that will not apply for students engaged in courses with practicals. Okay, yes. Mr. Leo, help me ask Prof with the e-learning, how comfortable and successful. Okay, I'm sure I asked that question already, but Prof, now students are preparing for the HND and the HPD, yes, national examinations.
Yes.
Yes. Are you also giving them specific tips on how to get themselves away from so much distraction?
Well, we try to keep them busy as possible. You see, our students at that level are adults.
Yeah.
So we just always solicit their sense of responsibility, the sense of self-discipline and focus. We always do our best to make our students disciplined and focused, to know that they are here for a specific purpose. Life never ends. So they can just hold on for those 2-3 years. After that, they can continue with their lives.
Good evening. I wish to know which there are GCE. If I don't know whether he wants to know whether they are going to write when they will write the GCE. Alumba is writing from Douala here. The government has announced that schools are expected to resume in June. Is that in any way going to change the way things are being done now as far as lectures are concerned? It is true students are coming back, but where are you going to place the e-learning process?
Well, you see, I cannot comment on secondary and basic education.
Yeah.
But all I can say is that all the ministries of education, I know there are 4 of them, are all following this issue very closely. And they will adjust their program according to developments that will be on the ground at the time.
Is that what you are telling students to be prepared? That okay,
yes,
if things go the way the government is anticipating, schools may effectively resume, but if they get worse,
well, the government will look for a way out, because you see, the government does not want to see a blank year. So this year, the examinations will be written. When they will be written will be determined by events. But I want the students to be rest assured that they should not sleep. They should work hard, because we are all praying to the Almighty God to spare us from the ravages of this COVID-19. Because you know how vulnerable we are in Cameroon and in the entire African continent. We pray that we should be spared, and that as soon as this COVID-19 subsides, life goes on. You can see students should be hopeful. In Europe, where the ravages have been devastating, some countries have started opening up. And in Cameroon, we have not entirely closed down. So I think all these are indications that the future is bright.
Okay, these are indications that the future is bright. Ahmad University is doing its best, but your best cannot be best enough until the parents themselves take up their responsibilities to accompany what you are doing.
Yeah, and the students themselves show a sense of responsibility.
What do you expect from the parents?
No, the parents should also they have parental responsibilities. That is to ensure that the children are not allowed to stray. To know that if a good parent or guardian can ask the child, can you show me your program or studies through e-learning? It's okay, this and this. If the guardian puts it in his head, if he says from 4 to 6, and by 4 this child is playing football outside, the father will call him to come back and follow what is going on. That is parental responsibility.
That is parental responsibility. Just want to use this opportunity to express thanks to you, Bobo Lennox, out there in Bamenda, who you have gotten a message from somebody that you sent. I don't know the quantity of face masks to my Media Prime. We are going to be expecting to receive them tomorrow through any of the travel agencies. So, Bobo Lennox out there in Bamenda, we are immensely grateful for recognizing the job that we are doing out here. Let me take some messages. This one says, good evening, Mr. Leo. I wish to know from the professor which are the subjects necessary before one can enter into Himmat University, and how much is the school fees? Thanks. Is Carlos Kennedy writing from Bamenda?
Yes, because of time constraints, Mr. Carlos, please consult the Himmat website, and you will find all the information necessary. And otherwise, you can contact Media Prime, because we will send them the information.
Okay. Okay, you can contact us after this, or you consult the Himmat
website,
Facebook or website. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Just to find out from Prof if the e-learning can also apply to master students, and also find out the engineering program at the master's level. Okay.
No, for right now, our MBA is for the business and management sector. Yeah. We have not moved to that in engineering yet, but it is in the MOU, so it is going to come.
So at the level of master's, e-learning is possible?
Yes, in fact, it was started because of them. Okay.
It was started because of the master's program.
Since most of them cannot attend classes regularly.
Okay. Good evening. Was there no e-learning when the Anglophone crisis started for more than 3 years now? The light epileptic in the Anglophone region shows that the last class citizens can go to hell. Eposi Hannah is writing from Moyoka, but you say that this Himmat already started working on this since 2016.
Yes, since 2016. So as I said, we started because we're thinking of our MB master students who will be mostly workers. But we have already, I said, the president thought around, I think, 2018 to extend it to cover all the subjects.
Okay.
Except, of course, the subjects that need practicals in the engineering.
Okay. Hello, good evening. I would like to know the advantages of doing an agricultural program in your institution. I'm not sure there is agriculture.
Thank you very much. Okay. We have not yet reached that area.
Okay. Agriculture, no, not there. This one says, good evening. I'm a student preparing for the HND, but right now my mind is really stressed up due to all this economic crisis. We hope this economic crisis, we hope no matter what, we can't have a blank year, because it's going to make some of us go crazy. It's Williams writing from Douala. Williams, I'm sure there's not going to be any blank here. Greetings once more, Prof, for first-year students to enroll in transport and logistics department. How much are we talking about for the school fee?
Yeah, as I said, the information is available. Because of time constraint, I cannot give you that information here.
Okay, they should go to the Himmat website.
Yes.
Good evening, please. I wish to know when schools will be reopened. David is writing from Lebialem. David, schools, according to official position, schools are expected to resume on the 1st of June this year. Emil, writing all the way from Jotin, that is in Bui Division, says, greetings, Mr. Liu. I just want to greet you. Emil from Jotin. Emil, I'm glad to read from you. I hope family is doing well. Extend our greetings and love to them. This one says, it's Starboy talking from Limbe. Do you think Etofis can be the next president of Cameroon? Why can we not follow the European system of education rather than following Cameroon's system of education? I'm sure that is what Himmat is trying to do. This one says, I like Una program, Sote Long Live Vino. is writing from Muyuka. Good evening to you. This one from Kista Kulu here in Douala says, good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Professor. Just to say, I am impressed with Professor's task in his response. Strictly educational and nothing with politics. You are a professor indeed. Okay. The professor got your message, Kista. This one. Good evening, sir. I'm Emmanuel writing from. Okay, your message is not too clear, Emmanuel. Please stop the calls. When you call, I can't. Take any message. Just send your message, and I will read them out. And when you keep calling, we can't read the messages. Good evening, sir. I wish to find out where masters in insurance can be done in Cameroon. Benache is writing from Limbe. I don't know whether.
Yes, you can do that at HIPMAT.
Okay, they can do masters in insurance.
Yes, because it falls under the MBA.
Okay, they can do that at HIPMAT. We are going to be running up from our discussions this evening. We want to get your last words to the students who are watching us, parents who are watching us, and Cameroonians as a whole.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to start first. They say charity begins at home, even though it must not end there. I will start with the president of HIPMAT. I want to thank him for his interest in these youths, because he does not spare any effort. He does not spare any investment to help the youths. So I want to thank him for that. Now for the students, I want to let them know that the president of HIPMAT has them at heart and is doing everything to ensure that they are successful at the end of the year. So I'm calling on them to be focused, to be disciplined, and to read hard. For the parents, I want to assure them, I'll plead with them to assume their parental responsibility to get their children to work. For Cameroonians at large, I want to let all of us know that we are passing through very difficult times. But, you know, tough times don't last. Tough people do. We need to come together. We need not to despair. We need to be optimistic. We need to be proactive. We need to know that tomorrow will be better than today.
We need to know that tomorrow will be better than today, and everybody needs to hope in tomorrow. Let me take well, when you keep calling, I can't read the messages. Let me take one last message and we call it for tonight. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for making the reality real. Barrister Low Tabu Evans are writing from Boya. We want to thank you all. It's a bit difficult to be reading when you keep calling. We want to thank you all who took time off to follow the program this evening. We are very grateful to all of you who watched across the globe. We equally are very grateful to the production team, to you, Desmond, and to you, Eli, and to you, Corinne, Jesse, and Ledwin, who are working at the broadcasting. We want to thank everybody who has worked so hard for the success of this edition of Prime R. We equally are sending special greetings to the president of the HIPMAT University, Mr. Jude Chilaka, who should be watching from somewhere in Boya, and to the entire HIPMAT family. We say we are very grateful that you honored our invitation to be part of this program to share with Cameroonians. We equally want to say we are grateful to you, Tabi Tambe Bryant, who is supervising the work we are doing out here. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.